Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. What a difference a week makes. Last week we were talking about the summer snooze, and this week we're talking about full FOMO. We'll break all that down as well. Big thank you to mods in the chat. And I got my mic turned on this week too. Imagine that. Such a win. Anyway, thank you to the mods in the chat. I want to talk about, go through all our favorite charts across AI and crypto. Heavy focus on crypto and macro and everything else. And this is not financial advice. And by the way, I will break all this down, but every week I basically go over my scorecard of what I said last week. I'll go through where I was correct, where I was wrong, and where I was mixed, and where there was some noise. But there's some very, very clear wins in the TA, and TA is very good for predicting. But sometimes things can be off. For example, I thought with the top was in for Palantir, and I missed that by about $5 or $6. Thought it'd be around 165. Also, I didn't expect SpaceX to go up 45% in a week. So that stuff can happen. But let's get into the big story, this one. Let's walk through the charts. And I'm going to turn off my camera. But trust me, I'm here live. Or I can put it in the bottom corner, but it'll always get in the way of something. So I'm just going to turn it off, and I'll come back later. And I will take questions as well. We have somebody in there looking at where we are with questions too. So let's break it down. Let's look at the volatility. I did talk about the VIX prior week at 20.66. It was going to be topping. If you wanted to short it, you could. And right now, VIX fell all the way down to 14, which is very close to the floor. Let's put in a line here as well, because it's always good to have a horizontal line to mark the floor of kind of where we are. Yes, we can fall below this level, but it's very unusual that it does that. And volatility is often kind of low in the summer as well. Let's check out the Qs. The Qs are beautiful. Well, first of all, we did see the top, kind of like a double top way back in early June, May, and then double top again towards the 18th of June. Then we tanked down. And a very clear buy signal. We didn't get quite close to the 200-day moving average, but since then it's just been up only. Now, I did call that the QQQ is looking very strong, and it did have a very large recovery off that very clear bounce. So that was nice. Let's look at the S&P 500. This one, I put in the cat face because a little dip a while back up here at the sell signal, which was sarcasm because it was nothing really going to happen. And I said the continued pattern. This thing will just keep on making all-time highs for now. AI is changing things. The PE, average PE ratio of the S&P 500 is 20. It's cheap. The bears are pulling their hair out because they don't understand why we're not at zero. Anyway, this continued pattern will continue. A lot of people are also talking about the midterm years in the United States, an election year, where the stock market's always weak. Well, explain that to the S&P 500 because it keeps making new all-time highs all the time. Anywho, let's move on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I did say it will be chopping, range bound, and it looks like it's what it's been doing. Hasn't been going anywhere. There's no big catalyst. Sailor isn't buying. The ETFs have come back. They did nearly $1 billion last week, which is good, but we need them to do another $1 billion to take the price up 3%. Without them, there is nothing. Retail has no money, or retail is YOLOing into space and other things right now. Top and bottom indicator is teetering down to, again, an all-time low. So this is the deep value zone, but will it rebound? That's the billion-dollar question. We don't know. Now, Bitcoin versus gold. I expected this thing to outperform gold, but no. Gold went on a rager today, up above $4,500, and Bitcoin went nowhere. Therefore, gold is winning this pair chart, which is unusual because normally it should be rebounding from here, and it hasn't done that. So I was wrong on this one. Gold is the faster horse because the Chinese and the Russians are buying it. Solana, I did say we're going to get closer to the 200-day moving average. You can see here a bit of a sell signal chopping sideways. Nice clean bounce off level 1 on the HR model. The trend is peaking up a little bit. If we go to a 4-hour, you can see that. But we are about 8% away from the 200-day moving average, which is good. Let's go to a clean line here. Last week, we were 12% away from the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average is about $82. We're now about just under $76. But again, there are no catalysts for crypto, no catalysts for Bitcoin, despite new all-time high of transactions and users and revenue made by dApps and crypto. The on-chain data is red hot. I covered that a few days ago in a video. But the price is not there yet. But the on-chain data is typically a leading indicator for price. Let's look at Ethereum. Did say the kill box is 1,500. We have creeped up, but again, just like everything else, just like Bitcoin, just like Solana, is chopping sideways. This one's also 8% away from the 200-day moving average, around $2,085. So that's Ethereum. Hope Tom Lee is okay. Let's look at the crypto market cap too. This tells you an exact story of exactly where we are. Crypto market cap is nowhere. In fact, it's back at levels from 2024, and it's far under where it was in 2021. Can you believe that? And there's a lot more tokens out there today than there was back then. So crypto has not made people money, and people are getting impatient. MicroStrategy, another one where people are getting very impatient. Look, you see this very clear chop, chop, chop down here all the time. He is ATMing to death to make money, to buy STRC back, also raise cash to give people confidence in STRC. I did say it'd be range bound because as he continues to use that ATM, price isn't going to go anywhere. Even if Bitcoin goes up, this thing might go close to 100, but then he starts ATMing like mad as well. Again, STRC, you can see very clearly here, it was a nerve-wracking time when the price fell all the way down to $73. Now it's back to 94, nearly 96. But if we zoom in here, I want to show you something. You can see actually all the purchases that are happening. And they see little green shadows here. Green is buy, buy, buy. When there's a lot of red, that means somebody's selling, taking profit, moving out. But consistent green buying all the way up. So it's probably Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, dying to get this thing back to 100 because then the flywheel can start again so they can start buying Bitcoin back instead of selling it at the bottom. I do not agree with their strategy right now. It's not what I would do. I'd sit on my hands and wait for Bitcoin to recover. Then wait for NAV premium to be back in place, then ATM the stock, etc. But there's too much reliance in STRC right now, and that should not be the way. Anyway, let's talk about Tesla. Tesla has been a disappointment. Yes, no doubt about that. We are going to turn this off. But if you look at, where we've come from, a lot of people get confused. Like 6 years ago, it was at $17. So it's up 850% from 6 years ago. But if we go back 5 years, you can see it hasn't got, it's up ever so slightly over 5 years. Let's find out exactly. People get confused about this because people like to say, oh, it's gone nowhere 5 years. Yeah, it's only up 43%. Yeah, and it sucks. But remember, you buy this thing on the dips. You don't buy at the all-time highs. And that's the same thing with any other asset as well. Over the past 6 years, great buying opportunities at 17, 106, 220, 160, 220 again. Then we had a whole bunch of other opportunities. But again, it sucks. And the only explanation I have for why this is sucking, because the fundamentals, just like crypto, have never been better. It's as if SpaceX is sucking all the oxygen from the Tesla room. And all the retail Tesla investors, retail holdings have gone from 44% of the stock down to 22%. So you could assume 20% of all retail shareholders have sold their bags. They're out. They have bounced. But the institutions have gone in and purchased them. Typically, the way of the world, retail sells the bottom, and then the institutions buy it. Then when it goes back to 500, retail will buy. But we have another big overhang in the room, and that is the SpaceX acquisition that everybody's talking about. It's also putting a big dent on the actual price. Then we have SpaceX. Literally, this thing was at $103 a few days ago. I didn't expect it to go up 45%. Literally. In a week, in like 5 trading days. It was down only after the IPO. And then look at what happened. A lot of people were afraid about this unlock happening. Oh, unlock, everybody's going to dump their stock. But then guess what happened? Earnings. One of the best earnings calls I've ever heard. I wrote a Substack on it. All the takeaways are mind-blowing. And I keep modeling financials around what he says in those calls. In fact, Elon did another meeting yesterday and did some more modeling around the revenue projections and price to sales multiples. It is bonkers. If it is true what he says about the growth rates getting to 300 billion ARR next year, getting to 100 billion by the end of this year, that would be very dramatic. Anyway, market is realizing this. The unlocks aren't having an effect. And the price is up nearly 45% just in a week. Let's look at the pair chart too. This one has been an interesting pair. Tesla was up only after the IPO, and now it's down only since. So we've gone from 1.8 shares of SpaceX to Tesla, all the way to 3.2 shares of SpaceX to Tesla, and all the way down again to 2.24. Little green candle here, not saying it's bullish, but anyway, the point is when this is going down, when the orange color is there, that means SpaceX is underperforming, or Tesla is underperforming SpaceX, and blue is vice versa. Tesla's beating SpaceX. We'll see if this thing turns around. Tesla here is drastically undervalued, but people are out of patience waiting for Cybercab, and they want to see the Optimus humanoid robot, which I can tell you does exist. And it's sublime, but we just don't, the public doesn't know about it yet. Let's talk about NVIDIA. This one has been a beast. Another correct call here that it's up only after the beautiful triple bottom at the 190. Very strong stock, trading at a PE of 20. In fact, NVIDIA is trading at an all-time low price to earnings ratio. And is it going back to 236? Yes, it is. We are $10 away from going back there as well. No sell signals, trend is still up, things looking pretty strong. And this is part of what's happening is like the latter part of the summer has become very, very strong, caught a lot of people off guard. And a lot of people as well short, a lot of people listening to Michael Burry, they're going short Nbis, they're going short Palantir, etc. And that's causing a bit of a short squeeze. Apparently as well, there were a lot of, let's talk about SpaceX for a second, there was a lot of hedge funds short SpaceX because of the unlocks. And this could be part of why the price is so strong, because they're forced to cover. And in fact, let's go into the 4-hour chart and I'll show you what that covering looks like. When we zoom in and we got the SVP, and where is it? Let me go to the line, turn off the bars. And then you can see the short covering. Let's go to there. See all the green buy. Not much selling. A little bit of selling up here at the top at 146. Looks like they may have covered their positions, but they basically, when it turned around and it didn't sell off after the unlocks, they got very nervous and started buying. Also, there was the great earnings call that could also be a catalyst for the buying too. People are realizing, wow, under IPO price, time to get this thing. Anyway, back to Micron. Micron also very strong. Beautiful clean bounce off level 4 here. Heading back to level 5 again. Michael Burry likes to short this one. I don't get it. This one is a $1,600 stock in the making, and we just have to wait and see when we get there. It did bounce cleanly off, what did I say last week, 739, and now we're up only. First stop 960, and then break 1,000 and head back to all-time highs. Marvell as well, the AI trade is alive and well. This one is probably one of the cleanest charts. Straight up from the buy here at 64, it shoots up to 328, and then sell signal down. Once again, it bounced very nicely off this level 3 here at around 163. Good buying opportunity. I bought Marvell here on this dip as well, added to my position, and it's still looking very strong. Heading up from here. You'll notice as well, this is, the trend is still blue, but we'll see where we go from here. Google, this one I got wrong. This one, I thought it would sell off, but then it bounced back and then it sold off again. Let's go to the 1-month chart so you get a better feel for exactly what happened here. So it was looking real strong, and I hate this line. I'm going to go to the line and blow it up. because I thought it was going to stay flat. It actually popped real big. Let me go to my notes. I have to pull that back up. But it did pop right up to 377, 378, 380, by the way. And then it tanked back down again for fear about a couple of things. First of all, there's fear that Google is losing the frontier model race. This is true. Let me go back to a 1-year chart. They are losing. They're giving up the ghost. I don't know where my notes are. Yeah. Where did I put them? Maybe they're up here. Oh, there they are. Haha. I knew I had it. So last week, there was rumors that Demis Hassabis and all the AI gurus were leaving the company. As it turns out, 4 of them are. Also, there's rumors that they're going to focus not on frontier AI model, but focus on compute, kind of like what SpaceX is doing. But SpaceX is also focusing on that too. SpaceX, by the way, launched 4.6, Grok 4.6 today, which is on par with Opus from Anthropic. So they're both leaders, except Grok 4.6 is faster and cheaper. And remember, that's the Pareto efficiency you're looking for. Anyway, the market was rattled about the departure of Demis, who didn't actually depart. He's just going to a different role within Google. But the other guys leaving did. So I do believe this is still a $400 stock. You can buy at 342, but the trend is still down as the market digests what really is Google trying to do. AMD, another one. This one looked like it was going to bounce clean off level 5, and it did. We did get a sell signal here. So this is one of these mixed, choppy signals as well. I do believe we're going back to 580 eventually. But if you see this thing down in the low 400s, it's definitely worth it. Think of this one as the mini NVIDIA. It's like NVIDIA's baby brother, baby sister, and very well run too. Broadcom, beautiful, beautiful buy zone. We had down here 369, now it's 416, but it's running out of steam as well. So during the summer, it'll be hard for some of these names to get back to all-time highs, but it's a good time to as well stack down here. When you do see these big dipperoonies, go grab them. The target window is 500, but we may not get there till September. And sometimes the early part of September can be very ugly and nasty. So have your cash prepared for that as well. Now, this one I got wrong because I thought the top would be around 167. It broke out beyond that. So it went higher, which also is explained by some of the short squeeze. So a lot of people, 66% of Michael Burry's account is short Palantir, pretty short dated puts. And he sends out a Substack to a lot of people. It puts a lot of people into the short trade for Palantir. And then when the price goes up after great earnings, which we had here down on the 3rd of August, it just rips and it catches a lot of people off guard. And therefore, the short covering happens. But that should all be pretty much done now. And we should be mean reverting back down. In fact, let's turn on mean reversion on this one because that's an important one to look at. I was trading the mean reversion myself, and we got to an all-time high of 4 down on, I think it was the 1-hour chart, a 4 standard deviation mean reversion. It was off the hook. Maybe it was the 5-minute, 1 hour, I don't know. But it was absolutely mind-blowing how high it went. Well, there it is. There's August 4th. Massive mean reversion spike. Typically, when that happens, the price will come back down, but it takes time. And it did start to come back down, and then it went up again, which to me means the shorts were covering and they were getting caught offside. But I do believe it's going to come back down again because that's what it always does over time. So that's Palantir. Copper is when I said it's just going to keep on going up for the next 2 to 3 years. And it has been doing that, but it did take a little bit of a breather. I did say we're going to get a new all-time high. We got that new all-time high, and it's sold off over the last 5 days. But that's what it does. If you look at the overall trend, let's go back, say 5 years, get a good feel for this copper. This is my only kind of like precious metal because of the AI revolution. But an easy way to just set a little pattern is look at the line, and that's where it's going to go, and it's going to follow this trajectory. And if you go out a couple of years, say, for example, it does continue to follow this trajectory, because I said it's going to be a $10 asset within 3 years. And I think I still stick to that. And that's why, because of a simple little line. All right, so that is the story so far. I'm going to see if there are any questions from anybody out there in the cryptoverse. And of course, a big thank you to Yunka, Boov McDuck, Buckhorn. Good to see you again, buddy. And of course, Cypher Sniper, TD Tesla, Sean D as well, and K8. Let's get into some questions. Wage Slave. Does anyone know if James is going to look at ARM chart by chance? ARM is one of my IA13s. Let's pull up ARM. You will see it here. Boom. And I nearly got ARM. I missed it by like $2 or $1, like 103 a while back, or maybe it was 93. I can't remember. It was early in the year. Yeah, it was down around 103. I had a limit order. I missed it, and I never chased. This one is a beast. It will do very well, but I believe things like Marvell and Micron could do even better. So Marvell, or ARM, is a great company, but it is a little bit pricey. Let's go look at the financials real quick and see what actually they are telling us what's up. So we go to quarterly. This is some of the stuff that concerns me. It's when revenue doesn't grow. And this is why I'm not chasing, by the way. When revenue slows down, it makes me nervous. And earnings slowing down as well, big time, makes me nervous. And that's exactly the reason I didn't chase ARM. I'm happy to buy it at 103. I'm not buying at 274. So that's just me. My goals are not your goals. Dan's Diverse Domain. Hi, well, what do you think short-term SpaceX better than Tesla, considering a couple of months with a higher allocation to SpaceX, but considering the market cap, Tesla is still the better buy. So this is the strangest game. I made a very detailed Patreon post this morning of my conundrum between Tesla and SpaceX. We have the overhang. The overhang is the acquisition. Everybody thinks SpaceX is going to buy Tesla. People don't know what price. And that's part of the concern. If they do buy, it'll be a 50 to 60% premium. So if Tesla's trading at 400, the offer will be 600 or whatever the price is at the time. Tesla is very interesting because they're on the cusp of greatness, with Roadster allegedly being rumored to go soon. Tesla Semi is going into scale production any minute now in Nevada. And Optimus is scaling. The scale production for Optimus is starting next month as well. And how are they going to keep that under wraps? And then you got Cybercab ramping. There's about 2,300 of them sitting around the country in different places, all ready to be turned on. So it's going to be slowly and then suddenly, but I don't know when. I don't know if it's 3 months from now or whatever. Now, the SpaceX news is incredible. You got Elon Musk doing meetings and presentations and talking about crazy numbers, and that causes the FOMO. I got some SpaceX FOMO this morning, in fact. And I don't chase, but I chased that one this morning. So right now, I think SpaceX could go back to 200 a lot quicker than Tesla could get back to 500 or 450. That's kind of my math on this one. But it all hinges on when the Cybercab really ramps in earnest. That is the boogeyman in the world. And then any day they could announce an acquisition. Any day between now and the next 2 years, I expect it to happen. Boogeyman Boogle, regarding SpaceX unlocks, when is the last unlock? And how much is still to be unlocked? A lot. So the unlock that happened a few days ago was 140% of the amount of the float. It was huge, but it didn't matter. Stock's still going up. The unlocks will continue 7% every month or so up until November. And then Elon's unlock happens about 9 months from now, but that doesn't matter. He's not going to sell a stock. He doesn't need to. So I wouldn't worry about that one. So I deployed this morning, and I deployed around, I think it was 110 or so. So I'm slowly building my bag, but I'm going to be very patient, not rushing in. So I'll wait and see. And, you know, anything could happen with SpaceX. They could have Starship take off and blow up. Can you imagine what would happen to the stock price then? It would tank. And that's when we'll be grabbing with both hands. So just wait and be patient, but continue to stack using DCAS as well. Barbarian life. I bought a little SpaceX yesterday. I want to own spaceships. We all do. All us space nerds when we were kids. That's crazy. Mopbots. I'd love to see Sol reject from the 200 DMA so I can load up one last time. Good point. Very good point. I mean, I did a video on crypto and fees and users and adoption and transactions. And per my math, Solana is the most undervalued crypto out there by far. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But right now, what we're noticing, even between Tesla and SpaceX Mopbots, that when there is a shinier new toy in the room, it gets all the attention. The Tesla becomes a red-headed stepchild with SpaceX in the room. I hate to use that expression, but it's an old financial expression. And it's the same thing with crypto. AI is sucking the oxygen from the crypto world, and even SpaceX is sucking the oxygen from the Tesla world. And there's one more from Kat as well. Kat with the hook. What about Nbis and Lam Research? I like Lam Research and Nbis. In fact, Nbis had a great earnings report. A moment of silence, please, for what's his name, Michael Burry, because he went short Nbis and he got completely cooked today. The guy is licking his wounds. This is nasty. 260, 259, and he shorted at 200. So he's hurting big time. But their earnings are very good too. So Wednesday, 12th of August. No, hang on a second. Yeah. Earnings, they come out today. I know. I heard they were good. Maybe they come out this morning, but I read somewhere that they were good. And Lam Research, so Nbis, there's very nice, clear buy signals. Buy at 178, buy 172, buy at 185. No sell signal yet, but we did have a quick sell here at 213, but now it's breaking out and it's heading back to new all-time high because it's being re-rated. Let's look at Lam Research because that is a very interesting company. In fact, Lam Research is helping SpaceX and Tesla build the Terafab. So that's one of the things that has my attention. Lam Research. Oh, wow. This would have been a very nice buy. Cat with a K. Why didn't you tell me this a week ago? You could have bought at 267. Beautiful, clean signal to buy right down here. Right now it's chasing. I don't know how far it's going to run, but a lot of the juice has been squeezed. Like that's a big run. We head from here to here. 32% in 10 trading days. It's, by the way, just so people know, it's 14 days is calendar days. It includes weekends. 10 bars is the amount of 10 trading days because stock markets are closed at the weekend. So don't be confused by those numbers as well. When I talk about stocks, I talk about trading days, not calendar days. I want that to be very clear. Lam Research, super sweet. They're also going to do very well, but they did not make the I-13. You know, you can't pick them all, but I picked what I believe were the best. Obviously, this bounced off earnings. So the earnings are probably very explosive. Earnings were 8% better. Revenue in line. That wasn't exactly blowout, but it's still doing well. I think because those earnings weren't blowout, I don't expect it to go back to all-time highs. But if you get a little black swan action or gray swan action in September, I am going to do something. I'm going to turn on my little alert. This is what I do, by the way. I turn on my alert at a key support level. I am a buyer of Lam Research at 271. And I have hundreds of alerts, traps, I call them, laid out all over the place. Everybody hit the like and subscribe. Nobody watches these videos, but the people that do watch them, they love them very much. So give you some support if you can. Thank you all for coming. Have a great day. Bye.